Hi, this is Supervisor Ed Lachterman, and welcome to Your Town, Yorktown. Today I am here with our Director of Parks and Recreation, or actually Superintendent of Parks and Recreation, Jim Martorano Jr.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure to have you here, Jim, not only at the table, but working for the town. And I know there's a long history of Martoranos working for the town, as your dad sat at this table for, I think, 20 years as a councilman.
Born and raised Yorktown, lived here my whole life, and happy to serve.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Jim. We're glad to have someone of your passion and commitment in this position. It's very important for our town, just to have someone who knows about recreation, is passionate about recreation, and is really a leader. And a lot of people don't know how much you push for the different projects behind the scenes, and you always have a convincing case for what we need to do.
Yeah, I go way back to Aaron Bach's administration. I've known every supervisor since then,
Yep.
so I have kind of a deep knowledge of your position and all the years that's been taking place with from Aaron to Linda, and to you now. It's really been amazing to get to know all of you on a personal level.
Well, don't forget, from Linda, you had Alice
A
for a
bunch
little
more,
bit. Donnie Peters Sr. You had
Susan Siegel was there.
Siegel, Michael Grace, Lonnie Gilbert, Matt
Tom
Slater,
Diana,
Tom
obviously.
Diana, and now me. Yeah, you've been through quite a few of us.
Absolutely.
So, Jim, parks and recreation are two of the real attractions to our town for young families, and actually not only young families, because we do quite a bit in the area of senior citizen things as well. So why don't you give me a brief explanation about how your department runs, and we could go from there.
Yeah, it's great. It's although we do deal with politicians, we are not political, which is great. And we give so much back to the community, whether it's special events or just keeping our space safe, which we'll talk about later on, as far as just the parks in general. And our parks department do a better job than most others of maintaining the safety of our parks. We have a ton of special events. We have a senior luncheon that's taking place very soon that you're helping spearhead. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you, Noreen, and actually my wife Carol, who's been instrumental in the planning of this. So.
Yep. Completely free to our seniors.
Yes.
We have another free event for the Halloween parade and carnival. Another free event, which is great.
With the Yorktown Lions.
Of course.
Thank the Lions for their service to the town.
Just really the engagement too of working for non-for-profit organizations such as the Garden of Hope that uses one of our parks to facilitate growing vegetables and giving it out to local pantries free to the community. We have the tree bank in the same area with our tree committee that grows trees that we're able to plant, like on Arbor Day and some other places in town and our parks. Just really remarkable things that we've been doing. Just really fortunate to help facilitate those partnerships. And then we also have the other one right here at Town Hall, the Veterans Memorial Circle, with the Veterans Committee, with the Yorktown Garden Club, which has been great. And you've been a big part of that partnership as well.
Well, it's there's nothing political about parks and recreation and people being able to do things actively. I like to consider myself an elected official versus a politician, but that's what we get elected for. It's taking care of our community as a whole, and granted, our water department deals with everyone with water, our sewer, everyone with sewer, our highway, everyone with highway, but you touch a lot of people in more of a sexy way than hey, I fixed a water line or a sewer pipe, and well, the roads are pretty sexy when they get paved. I like how slick they look, but I think that you touch a huge portion of our population in something that people see and experience on a daily basis. And I will say that when I meet new residents and I talk to them, they talk about Yorktown always has something to do, and they're so family-oriented and family-friendly, although I hear seniors who say it's very senior-friendly and senior-oriented. So a lot of great things there. So Well, we'll talk about a little of this as we go on.
Yeah, we pride Yorktown as a place to age in place. We see a lot of other communities where the seniors are leaving their towns. Their seniors moving to Yorktown,
Right.
which is cool. We got free pool passes for seniors over the age of 70 and discounted from 60 to 69. We have so many free, our nutrition program with Noreen O'Driscoll. Our seniors are very active in our community as well with the Senior Advisory Board. There's so much to do in your town if you're a senior that's really affordable. So if you are on that fixed income in your town, you get a lot for your money.
And I have a passion about serving veterans, and we also look for, you have some special discounts for our veterans too, I believe.
Yeah, and for the pool pass as well, we do that, and so
Yeah.
certainly for our veterans and our service people.
Yeah, no, and we have a very active veterans community. We have an American Legion post and a VFW post, 3 doors away from each other, which is great. And Veterans Day parade, Memorial Day parade. So there is some really good things there.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. What is, Jim? What do you think your biggest achievement is being in our Parks and Recreation?
Biggest achievement? That's a great question. I think our biggest achievement is creating an amazing staff here that helps kind of allows us to serve our community in the best way possible. But some of the other achievements besides that is creating, and one goes with the other, right? Having an amazing park staff also allows us to create the safest parks in the county of Westchester. So, because of our great staff, now we also have amazing people that are well trained, and that's something that your administration has helped us do with our budget, and having a training line in our budget to help train our employees, and the employees that we hired are willing and able to take this training to really help facilitate their skill sets. I don't know if you know this, well, you know it, but I don't know if they know it in your town, but we have 2 dedicated parks employees that are playground safety instructors. They took a very extensive class and hard certification course test to get their certification, and they go around to each playground, test each one out, and also do our repairs in-house. Any other town that's costing you hundreds and thousands of dollars to do that replacement, hiring another company to do that replacement. And some other towns may not even do that type of work because they don't have the personnel or the finances to test their playgrounds from a third-party organization or group. So the fact that we're able to do that in-house with our own staff is really remarkable, and it's nice for the parents out there to know that if you're on a Yorktown playground, you're on one of the safest playgrounds in the county.
Yeah, it's great that you point out that as one of your first things, and to give a couple minutes about the safety. Whether it's a training of the employees or what we look at for our residents, that's where it all starts. I think also one of the things you hear a lot is that the town cares about the employees. We're all in partnership to work for our residents and make sure that they have what they need and they have it safe. It's the same thing that our employees, if they have to go into a hole, to have training to make sure that there's proper shoring of the walls, to make sure that there's we understand the safety equipment, wearing helmets, wearing vests, being, when we're out there in the streets and being, make sure we're visible to prevent injuries is extremely important. But having the 2 dedicated employees on park safety, knowing that your kids are going to be able to get on that equipment without fearing injury.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, when I was a kid, I don't think park safety inspectors were around. I remember, we were talking about this the other day. You had the jungle gyms with the bars that
Everything was all metal.
Yeah, everything was metal. Going on a slide was, in the middle of July was like jumping into a frying pan. So it really was it is a different world today.
Yeah.
And it was much different back then. And, granted, it's more expensive to inspect, maintain, do the things they need to do. The different equipment is, I think in our recent poll, we were looking at stuff from 1990, and it's up 500%
Yeah.
from what it was for the same product. So it's definitely.
We're certainly doing more with less. You know, when you're looking at inflation and things of that nature, you know, you've been. I don't think you've risen taxes in the past 5 years or so, something like that.
We had an increase last year, which came to about a cup and a half of Starbucks coffee
All
for
right,
the
not,
average
that's not
homeowner.
bad.
Right, but you know, there's a lot of people. You know, there's a lot of confusion over the taxes. So we get a big tax bill in Yorktown. I get sticker shock every time I see mine, and you know, the realization that 75% of that right off the top is a school tax, which we have nothing to do. We're really a collecting agency.
Yeah.
Now, our schools are great. It's another reason people want to move to Yorktown. But, you know, when you talk about dollars and cents and taxes, that's a big chunk. County is another 12%. We have individual districts that are their own taxing districts. Well, tonight, in transparency, is Tuesday the 30th, or today, in about, what time is it?
2 hours.
2:40, 3 hours and 20 minutes. They're going to open up the vote on going out to bond for the new firehouse for Engine Company 1. They need to do that because, like, your equipment has changed, theirs have changed for safety, and there's a huge need to be able to fit the apparatus into a firehouse. Ours was built 75 years ago. It just doesn't work for today's trucks. It's not like, you know, you talk about safety. Back then, everyone used to jump on the back of a truck
Yeah.
and hang on and stand on the little rails that were there. And nowadays, everyone has to be in an enclosed cab, in a seat, with a airbag, and be able to fit their breathing apparatus, and that has to be covered. Just that alone, if you multiply it by a fire truck bringing out 6 to 8 people, where they used to have no seats for them, that's a lot of that's a lot of length that's now part of it, and the width has gotten bigger. And
But you know, with a lot of these parks projects that we've been doing, we've been really trying to not have any impact on the taxpayer year over year, and that's something we've done with some of our playgrounds. You know, Granite Knolls, to mention, that was a non-tax roll that was from a development, I believe, right?
right, well, that's an important thing. You know, people talk about development, and development. You know, when you get into all the different questions and answers and about it, and people have, you know, development brings new issues, whether it's traffic, whether it's you know, the site of it. Although I think when these projects are done, our planning board and our ABACA, our architectural review board, does such great work that these projects, when they come in, yeah, they look ugly when they're being built, but when they're finished, it's like, wow, this is really nice. I remember the Caramont building across the street. You know, everyone's like, oh, it's a monstrosity, it's ugly, and then it was done, it's like, wow, this is really nice. This is really, you know, a quality-looking building. The same with the little office park right next door where our place, the restaurant, is in. When that was built, it was built to fit the community look, and they really did a great job. I think that was the DeVito brothers and the DeVito group that did that. So really, our people that are in charge of all that really have great vision for getting through that process. But the economics, you know, having people that can now shop in our local stores, and people need to remember too, like even say Burger King, oh, that's a big chain. No, it's a small franchise.
Yeah.
It's people that own those stores that are hiring our kids and our seniors and our adults, and they are bringing jobs in, and they're trying to get by. And the good thing about a franchise is you get all their name recognition. The bad thing is you pay for it.
Yeah.
So they end up having to pay their fees, but they bring a lot of people to the table to shop. The developments bring the people, they bring jobs for the people.
Yep.
They bring people that might come in for something bigger, like an Uncle Giuseppe's, and look around that mall and say, oh, you know, they have a new pickleball place here. Maybe I'll join. And now they're here and they join and they go to Dunkin' Donuts or they go to one of the local restaurants. We have Don Pablo right there. So, it's all this big buildup. And then, of course, we have development that brings, as you mentioned,
Yeah.
parks.
Exactly.
Sorry,
No, and
I look at big pictures. So
that's good. And you were just kind of talking about, what we were getting and what the change of price was from 2000 to today. And, the money from developers goes into our trust and agency, which helps us, facilitate some of these projects. And you were looking to change the law and actually kind of making that kind of a better situation for the town opposed to the law that was, I think, last created in 2008 or something like that.
oh, it might even be before that. But yeah, no, and we need to. And that's one of the things that, unfortunately, as administrations change, you sort of lose focus on some of these things because you come in and you're learning your job and you're doing new things. And, even with the experience I have serving now 10 years, there are still things you come across that are like, man, I should have been on that. So we are looking at that. And, look, there's some supervisors that have been great at it. I remember when the Spectra pipeline came through and they wanted to.
Grace, yep.
Yep, that was Michael Grace, yes. And they wanted to utilize an area that is now Granite Knolls for parking their equipment.
I think it was a legacy that we had to sit for a little bit and then that.
Oh, you're right. So legacy, and they wanted to stage and keep all their equipment here so they didn't have to travel much, which is better for the environment, of course. And we said, we'd love to have you do that, but it's going to cost you. So Granite Knolls, something like $6 or $7 million to build.
8.1 final was
Was
the final.
8.1
Yeah.
was the final, and that was built by the contractors. That was a project that brought in basically an $8 million project that didn't cost our taxpayers a dime, which is absolutely amazing.
It's an anchor park. It's not like it's just a run-of-the-mill small playground. It is truly an anchor park that rivals some of our county parks, around Westchester.
Well, it's funny. I was talking to someone down in the Rye area, and they were saying we don't have parkland like you guys have. And if you want the type of facilities that Yorktown has, you have to join a country club. A little more expensive than our normal fees and our taxes. And I will say that from that point of view, I will give the country clubs the edge on the golf course. We do have our par 3 that's a beautiful little course, but some of these clubs have wonderful
And
courses.
kind of tying that in with some revenue as well. Not any other Parks and Rec department really around the county has the turf fields that we have. And one of the reasons why we're able to kind of do more with less, with not raising taxes, is the revenue we're generating from field rentals. So we have our local clubs that get a very lower rate. That helps us with our turf replacement. But outside of those rentals, we rent out to some private teams, and that revenue helps facilitate, our own budget.
Right.
So, we stay, definitely diligent on renting that field and increasing our revenue year over year.
Right. And it's funny because now full circle back to what we started talking about it. Out of your total tax bill, we deal on all of the town services, it's about 12%. So if you have a $20,000 tax bill, you're about $1,400 is used in the town for what is for police, for highway, for parks and recreation, for
Water, right?
water department is covered under that.
There's some water districts, though, that gets
Yeah,
complicated
water
there.
districts pay for their own district stuff, but your staffing, it pays for your town services, like the town hall and everything that's run here to make sure that the operation goes. So we do get a big bang for the buck, per se, out of that money. So, it's one of the things that one of the reasons I moved to Yorktown, one of the reasons I stayed in Yorktown. I've been here 30 years now. My wife's family has been here since the 50s.
Yep.
And, no plans to go anywhere right now.
Good.
We love Yorktown. and it is wonderful, and just I think that it behooves me to say thank you not only to you but to all of our department heads for making do with that, and us being able to hold the line so long and hard on taxes, especially with all of the inflationary costs, the rising cost of labor. I forget who put it. I think it was Sergio put it. If your electric bill goes up, guess what? So does ours. We pay the same prices. So imagine in your single family house and your $800 or $900 electric bill, multiply that by the square footage that we are running electric on. And we've been trying to come up with different ways to address that to save the taxpayers money, whether it's solar, whether it's different types of regenerative energy and getting to that. So we've been working on that and trying to LED lighting.
Yeah, I really appreciate our other department heads. They've certainly saved me money. You have a meeting that's monthly with all of us department heads, and we kind of talk about what we have going on, but also how we can kind of share services and help each other. And Dan Ciarcia has helped me a bunch of times on what would be kind of expensive engineering plans. He's obviously the town engineer, but he's got a lot of things going on with water and sewer and all that. But he's helped me out, producing some plans for to get the ball rolling on in different parks and different projects.
And you just did a big project with Highway too.
Yeah,
correct?
of course. Yeah, the highway.
We'll talk.
We just paved Downing Park. The parking lot is long overdue. Park that really needed some help. We had some potholes in there that our constituents didn't necessarily love, nor did our employees. But we're really happy to finally get that project done. Not only did we do the upper lot where the high school parks that we kind of lease out to them during their hours of operation, but we're also doing that lower lot.
Well, that's actually an official commuter lot.
Yes.
So the commute can park there. That's also access to the ball fields, albeit we're looking for more handicap accessible ADA.
Speaking of Dan, he helped me with those plans
There you go.
to start working on that grant.
Yep. So we're looking for a grant for that. But this in particular, this lot that you have up on screen was very, very dangerous for the kids. The parking was a disaster, but having the rock, having the gravel, having the holes where they would have to accelerate and kick up rocks and just to get out of a rut, and then not having cleared delineated parking stripes was big. And then we did the no left turn out onto 202 from there. Yep. Which was a very dangerous turn. And
you helped facilitate, you and Dave actually facilitate working with the superintendent there, and they actually paid for striping those. So we did the first part, and they did the second part. One hand's helping the other.
Well, actually, thank you for the credit for Dave and I and the superintendent per se, but it was really the kids that are part of the student government came to us, they went to Dr. Hatter, the superintendent, and expressed a concern, and he asked if I could come in. When he explained to me what it was, I said, well, let me invite Highway Superintendent Paganelli. And we went there, and we sat at this huge conference table with about 20 kids, and they spoke not only about this, but other initiatives that they'd like to see in town. And look, I'm always fond of saying that as a leader in Yorktown, the goal should be to take care of who got you here with your seniors, but more important, look at who you're leaving it to with your kids. And these young ladies and gentlemen got together and they brought up their concerns, and we were able to say, okay, let's see what we could do, and we were able to get that paved. I'm also happy that we're doing Downing on the other side by the playground.
Yes.
Because I was there, and as I explained to you, we needed to expand that parking lot a little bit because people were parking and they would have to go into the grass in order to have a wide enough lane to move through. And the grass was at an angle, and what I was seeing was when people were trying to leave, once again, you'd have to step on the gas to accelerate, in reverse usually, to get out of there. And I think of some of the accidents that happen with older people where they get confused on braking gas. If they keep that foot on the accelerator, you're looking for trouble. So I'm very happy we're able to make that a little larger to be more protected.
All that prep work going into that project was the Parks Department, and the finish work is going to be Dave and the Highway Department. So, once again, it's departments working together to save the taxpayers money.
And I believe Dave was supposed to help, was able to help you with some item 4 for that.
Correct. Yeah.
Which he was able to get for free.
Yep.
Which saved, I think, $40,000 on that job.
Yep.
Which is great, and caring about the taxpayer, trying to get something done that the taxpayers need.
Yeah.
Some of it they don't always recognize, but it's been good. And once again, it's all you guys working and gals working together to make this happen in the proper way.
Yeah, I mean, we've done a lot of infrastructure projects over the past, couple of years. We've done the doors at Sparkle Lake. Those doors might have been original. They were crusted and corroded. So we have nice new combo locks over there. Junior Lake chlorine tanks we did just to instead of having one tank, if that tank fails, that facility is going to be shut down for a long period of time. That was a 22-year-old tank, so that's beyond the years of those tanks are about 20-year.
And chlorine's pretty corrosive.
Yes, absolutely.
So, not very sexy as you look at jobs, but very necessary.
No doubt about it.
Very noticeable if it goes.
Hunter Brook Field, we expanded that parking lot. That was a big traffic safety issue. People were going to play their soccer games there, and there's cars going out to the street. So that baseball field wasn't being utilized as much, and we utilized the area where the diamond was to facilitate an expanding of parking there. And then, of course, the people love this one, the Granite Knolls pickleball courts. So we reclaimed the ground there and for the subsurface, and then repaved those and put in new lines and painted, put up new fencing as well. So they came out gorgeous. You obviously were there at the ribbon cutting. Just spectacular new courts at Granite Knolls, which also helps, once again, a revenue item, creating revenue for the pickleball tennis passes that all of our players purchase to utilize that facility. And that money is a reason why you and the town board felt confident to get these courts done.
Sure. Well, look, even when they are things that aren't charge items like Blackberry Woods that we just redid. Before you go off there you go. That's me playing pickleball in a suit, and I hate to say it, but got our butts whooped by Diana Quast wearing high heel shoes.
Yeah.
So our town clerk.
I think you played against Pat Murphy, I think, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Sergio. Yeah, but Blackberry Woods is a great project. Completely refurbished that playground, and that was a great ribbon cutting. That neighborhood was very passionate about that project, and they came to our Parks and Rec Commission meeting, looking to get Blackberry Woods completely refurbished.
Can you get to the picture of everyone standing there? Well, there we are on looking at it.
Yeah.
Look at the amount of young kids that have moved into that area.
It's been really since 2020. It has been night and day in some of these neighborhoods.
Yep, and I was talking to a gentleman. I don't see him in the picture, but his daughter was there with her kids, and they moved in. They wanted to come back into the area, live in the same area. So there were 3 generations that were in Yorktown living there, that were that were at that park, and it's just so great to see. And these little ones were just amazing.
Yeah, so happy to have a brand new playground in that space, and clearly it's going to be utilized, as you can see. And then obviously we've also done the legacy turf, and that's really just comes from the rentals of Legacy Ball Field. We did that just 2 years ago, completely refurbished the turf at Legacy. So that's a huge expense that really had no impact on taxpayers as well, with just what we rented with the local clubs.
Now, I don't think people realize, and there's a lot more turf at Granite than there is at Legacy.
You know, there's 3 fields worth of turf.
Yeah.
So we got that
So-
turf replacement line we've been working on over the last few years.
Right. So turf replacement on Legacy was $725,000. So multiply that by 3.
At
or
least
maybe-
1.5. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe 2
Yeah.
to get to Granite, because I think when you're doing the larger space, at least you'll probably save a little labor.
Correct.
Over that.
Yeah.
But just the maintenance, just doing that, and it's really important to make sure it's right. I learned so much about like subsurface and the type of
Well, that's true too. If we go with the safety surface that we did here, that you are definitely looking at too, because we actually put in extra rubber padding underneath that turf
right.
that not many turfs have, because you have to pay that much extra for it. But I'm happy that we have that, because that cuts down on concussions and that helps protect our kids that are playing in our local sports. So I mean, it's almost a no-brainer.
Absolutely, and just it's just so great to have, like, Legacy was considered like a premier park, and then Granite Knolls came along, and it's like
Blew it out of the water.
poor little Legacy. But yeah, no, it is fantastic. What else have we done, Jim?
But speaking of legacy, though, I want to get into some of the things that we're doing. If you don't
Sure.
but legacy at Veterans Memorial Field, as well as Downing Park, we're putting in new water fountains. So many of our water fountains have been defunct. You came to me with wanting to kind of having water at these sports facilities and places where people walk. It makes a lot of sense. So we've gone forward in creating water fountains, refillable water stations, because a lot of people didn't like the old school water fountains, but you put your mouth down.
Yep.
But everyone carries a water bottle with them nowadays, and they want to stay hydrated. So I think it's a great initiative to put forward, and we're going to be starting that at the end of October.
Oh, great. You working in conjunction with water?
Water department will help us when needed. They helped us put the water in at the Veterans Memorial Circle, so that was a huge help. Thank you to the water department once again, working with our other departments. But this, for the most part, we won't need the water department as much, because they are currently existing areas where we had water fountains in the past that had broken and not been used over the years. So, but if we do get jammed up, we'll be calling Paul.
When are they expected to come in? I know there was a timeline.
They're on order. They should be here early October, and we hopefully will have them installed by the end of October.
Very good. And what about AEDs at these parks now? I know we've been upgrading on those.
Yeah, we've been updating our AEDs, more specifically at Veterans Field, Jack DeVito gazebo. Right behind the gazebo, we have an AED now at the track, which we haven't had in the past. But I think that field has so much traffic, and talking about seniors walking at that track as well, and there's so many special events. So to have an AED at that location is imperative. So I'm very happy we finally got that in. And then at Granite Knolls, we have an AED that we've had for the past few years. And Legacy, we just actually updated the AED at Legacy Field, so we have a brand new one at Legacy.
Right, so the boxes are locked, and to get in, you could call either 911
Or 962-4141, our police department, and they will have that combo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's important, because if you need an AED, it's probably time of the essence, and you're able to get there as quick as possible. Just dial 911. Do we have signage on there to say call 911 for?
I'm not certain. I believe on that box we do, but I can get back to you on that. for sure.
I know it was just installed right before San Gennaro, because it's down there. We were going over the electric and all for the park. So hopefully we can make sure and tighten that up and do some clear, concise signage.
Other projects that we have going on at the moment, we just started the project at Shrub Oak, Brian J. Slavin Aquatic Facility. Huge project. We were spending probably around $20,000 a year on pool tile that surrounds our dive well and main pool there. And instead of putting bad money after bad money into replacing this pool tile, we're electing to coat the area around the pool in stainless steel, a stainless steel gutter. So we just started that project. So we're very excited about that, and that also saves the taxpayer money in the long run, right? If we're not spending $20,000 on that, it's going to something else
Right.
that we need.
And I will say, you know, that's following along my predecessor, Tommy,
Mm-hmm.
Diana, and, you know, get it done right. You
Yeah.
know, if you're gonna do it right. And, you know, I've been a firm believer, and we've spoken about that with, you know, doing the extra drainage work at our pickleball courts, our basketball courts, tennis courts. And this is one of those things, why spend what's now 20,000, which in a few years will be $40,000 a year
Mhm.
on replacing the tile if we could just do
And
something.
I recently went around with you as well to at Junior Park. We looked at the slide there, looking to refurbish that slide. You know, that's a 22-year-old slide, maybe 23 years now.
Mhm.
That needs some refurbishing.
Yep.
And once again, as you said, the sexy, not the sexiest thing, but something that needs to be done.
Sure.
These improvement projects are important. We also have looked at the interactive pool. That's also at Brian J. Slavin Aquatic Facility. That's I've been looking around. We were talking about maybe replacing it for a lot of money. Talking to some of the contractors at that location. They're like, why would you get rid of this? This thing's awesome, and the kids love it too. So, you know, I don't want to be
I would
public.
love to
yeah.
be handling those water guns
Yeah.
up top. It's great.
So I don't want to be public enemy number one with the kids of Yorktown. So we really are looking into saving money by refurbishing the current unit and kind of making it more efficient and also making it more updated. So hopefully we'll get that going in the next year or two, depending on what the administration's appetite is.
Well, hopefully we could get that moving in the next year, because I think it's not going to be very expensive, and I think that it's a great addition to the pool.
Yeah, and kind of going forward, you've been a champion of grants for the town. I mean, I don't think anyone. I've been with 4 other supervisors, and supervisors have talked about, oh, let's go get a grant or two. I don't think anyone's been as aggressive with really making sure that all of us department heads are really focusing on using our grant writers to the max. You know, we're paying them, whether, I think you said this is like whether you use them once or you email them once every day.
Right.
So you've really been putting the full court press on us utilizing our grant writers, and they've been very responsive in the pursuit of grants. And we're really trying to get this one grant that we've been doing for the past couple of years. You've been really championing an ADA accessible pathway at Downing Park 202 Fields, which I'm pretty passionate about as well. That park is a gem. It's one of our oldest anchor parks, but for forever since its existence, those ball fields have not been very accessible to the public. You know, whether you have a kid in a stroller or you have someone in a wheelchair, that is very hard to get to. Definitely an old park, kind of grandfathered into the rules and laws, I'm sure.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean we shouldn't do something there.
No, absolutely. Look, you have the big hill off of the commuter lot
Yep.
that it's almost impossible for a grandparent or sometimes even a parent to get down. And then if you enter and park on the other side, it's an awful long walk across.
Yeah.
I'm just looking, and I think that's a new one, so it's on this one. But on there, John Downing, who the park's named after, was a supervisor here in the 40s.
So
And
that goes
the
to tell you
matter-
how long
and-
that's been there. Yeah.
Right, and he used to work for the water department, so he's responsible for a lot of the water lines that were placed in Yorktown back in the day. So yeah, it wasn't the same mindset. We didn't think about ADA accessibility for the Americans with Disabilities, and it's important that we do try to reimagine some of these older existing structures and parks and say, what can we do to make it so everyone can enjoy it?
Yeah.
I think that is very important.
Yeah, and then we've also talked about adding maybe a different driveway so you could exit more easy.
Over by the light.
Yeah, over by the light, having that driveway come up and around to the lower lot, which would help traffic flow there, but also help people actually leave that park
Yep.
without getting stuck in rush hour, which has been a big issue for some of our
Sure.
employees, seniors, and softball parents as well, just trying to leave Downing Park.
Yep. So try to do what we can to improve and increase traffic flow. All these things we look at with every project.
If the state could help pay the bill, even better.
Well, I think that, and I think it's important that people realize the reason I championship grants so much, it's our money. It's our money that's gone to either the state or the federal government or the county even at times. And, we contribute into that, and I think that we get too little out of that contribution. People look at, they'll tell you that, well, your median income is higher. Well, that's because we're not as populous as some of the cities. And, just because our median income is higher as a whole, that doesn't mean that our families are not struggling day to day.
Yep.
And we can't, it would be great to just say, well, we could pull it all out of the taxes, but you got to collect the taxes, and the taxes will go up, and that's not, to me, that's not what we should be about. Government should be smaller, not bigger. We should be making do with what we have as much as we can. There's some things you have to worry about, labor increases, insurance increases, or health insurance went crazy the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Our gas, our electric, our costs that are there, we have to worry about that, but we have a lot to get finished, and we really want to make sure that we're not breaking the backs of the taxpayer. And if we could get some of our money back from the state that we've already paid into it, all that much better. All that much better for our people.
Yeah, and other grants and projects that we're looking into, a few playground grants that you had us taking a glance at. One at Sparkle Lake, that playground is our next one up that we'd really like to help, completely redo. That one, as well as Railroad Park, another one we're looking for some grant money on as well.
Well, I think it's important to say that we're, from my seat, I'm not looking only at Sparkle Lake Playground.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at Sparkle Lake as a whole community, and we're looking at the local waterway infrastructure stuff. And fortunately, when Matt Slater was working for Terrence Murphy in the Senate, they had Sparkle Junior and Mohegan all designated, and I think Osceola, all designated as important inland waterways. And that is going to help us as we put our waterfront revitalization board in place.
Right.
To be in a better standing to receive some grant money, because I think those parks are beautiful, but it'd be great to have that water redone. My wife tells me, 'cause she's been here, like I said, since she was born, and her family's been here since the 50s, and there is there was the whole thing and the whole debate. Someone said, "Oh yeah, we should be able to swim at junior." And everyone's like, "Oh, you were never able to swim at junior. You can't swim at junior." My wife used to swim at junior. She could walk there from where she lived and where we live now, because it's in the same area, and they used to go swimming there all the time. So that water was good. It was clean. It didn't have all the weeds and all the mud and all the runoff. So if we're able to get in there with some grant money and redo all that, that would be...
Yeah, that'd be a huge help over at Junior.
It would be phenomenal. It would be phenomenal.
And then, Granite Knolls, we're looking for grant money for, the Century Garden, as well as a potential fitness court at Granite Knolls. And, not necessarily grant money, but we're looking to maybe get some money from Toll Brothers to revitalize the Hunter Brook Field, add irrigation, and potentially maybe a bathroom at that site as well.
Well, I think they've already committed to that, correct?
Yes.
Right, and that was, once again, when a contractor comes in, that's part of the negotiation. There's revenue that's given. Now, they have an option of doing open space first and doing, recreation that everyone can use, and a lot of these places have that. Then there's a payment in lieu of, which goes into your trust and agency, but there are also community improvements that they can help with, which is this case. We were able to negotiate with them to say, hey, can we, get some of this work here? And I give you a pat on the back because you had a really great vision. We've already gotten the work done at the parking lot. If we get a restroom added for our parents and kids there, that's such a home run.
Yeah.
such a home run.
Yeah, I agree, and the irrigation's huge there too, and
Oh,
want to
yes.
make sure
Yes.
that grass is always grown and the seed's taken.
Right.
And sometimes that field, if it gets rented out too much, it gets a little bit too worn down.
Yep.
So it'd be nice to make sure we have that.
And it would be a lot more effective than having one of our guys stand there with a hose trying to water everything.
For sure.
So, yeah, no, the irrigation will be great.
Yep.
Will be great.
I do have some shameless plugs, though. We got some big things coming up.
Yes, we do.
We have our Halloween Carnival and Parade on the 18th. So hopefully you'll be in attendance. Great time. That starts at 2 o'clock. It goes to 4 o'clock. So bring your kids and make sure they're dressed up in the Halloween costumes on the 18th. And that's at Veterans Field at the Jack DeVito Gazebo.
Well, I will say adults dress up too.
Yes, of course.
And I've seen many dogs in costume as well.
Yeah.
And I think this year the Lions will have 2 photo stations, so you'll be able to get some pictures taken. Usually, well, I'm a Lion, so so we would have someone. And my wife and I love doing it. We had a station last time where we will take your cell phone, we'll take pictures for you on your phone, so you don't have to try to find them anywhere. And it's just so much fun. The kids in the costume, it's really...
It's a great event, free for all the families. We have over 200 families showing up. It's really a remarkable event and a lot of fun.
And I have to say, the Lions are very happy to now be in partnership with the town on it. The Lions actually started this. Lions are a great community group, and just a shameless plug for them. They do the summer concert series, they do the Halloween parade, they do the Easter egg hunt. And over the years, we've built up a great relationship with the town, where the town has been partnering. And when I say over the years, the Lions Club has been around for 60 years, and some of these programs are almost as old as that. Actually, it might be 65 years now.
Yeah, if anyone's looking for a volunteer opportunity, look up Yorktown Lions online.
Yeah.
Always looking for volunteers via the Lions, as well as your children. There's I think the Leos, which is a teenage group, and then there's the Cubs. I believe it's like a very youth from like birth to 8 years old or something.
Usually our youth, like we have one lion cub who was born with some health issues, had neoblastoma, unfortunately lost his eye to that. But the Cubs are more of a, hey, this is someone that we, has been a member of the community's child, grandchild, whatever, and we have actually done fundraising for some of the medical expenses as the Lion Cub, because the pack protects the cubs, and it's been a great thing. And we also have some, like my goddaughter, who's now 11, and when she comes down, helps out at the concerts. She was here in a car seat when she was born at the concerts, and ironically has become a huge music fan because of it. She's a Beatlephile, loves the Beatles.
Love that.
And she bought herself a Hofner bass guitar, because that's what Paul McCartney plays, and it's just great to see the generational building up, people doing all this. So it's really, the Lions do some great.
It's cool to see the impact that these community events have on the youth.
And those concerts have been going on since 1994. And ironically started with like a school band group. But I was talking to someone yesterday, it was actually John DeVito, where he said that, actually it was Pat. And Pat was saying that, back when it first started, you'd have like this high school band group and their parents. And that was it. Now we have concerts with a couple of thousand people in the field.
It's certainly involved.
It's
great sponsors as well.
Yes.
But speaking of great events in Yorktown, we have the Holiday Lights Parade. I think it's our 14th annual.
That is one of the most handsome Santas
right?
I've seen.
We've had a good Santa last year. Hopefully we'll have the same good Santa again this year.
What a pretty Mrs. Claus.
Yeah.
Yes. Smart, pretty, intelligent, and a wonderful wife.
Yeah. That's on December 6th. It's going to be at 6:45 kickoff. So make sure you're there, ready to go. Hopefully we're going to have a great time down at with our sponsor,
Yorktown
Auto Body. Thank you, and Perry putting on a show. I don't have the exact times for you with his celebration down there, but
He does a
he's a
great
great
job.
sponsor.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, Yorktown Auto Body puts on a barbecue. They have hot chocolate, hot cider, hamburgers, hot dogs, big pretzels usually.
Just a great community partner.
And he does that as a give back to the town. It's 100% out of his pocket, and he pays his staff to be there and cook, and they just, Perry, thank you. One of the reasons I bring all my cars to him when I need work done for auto body. And unfortunately, I've needed that a little too much sometimes.
And if you know of any local businesses, send them our way. Right now, we're taking applications to be in the parade over the next month. So always looking for newer trucks to get involved. We've had amazing fire trucks over the years, and then local businesses as well get involved. So currently, we're in that process of getting, and we have a limit of the amount of trucks that we can bring in. So, if you know any businesses out there that want to decorate their business truck, by all means, send them our way.
Now, Jim, I know we had the conversation. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I've always envisioned, especially after my last year, spending the holidays in Budapest and Austria, like a holiday market, a Christmas market, as they're called in Europe, although we could celebrate Hanukkah, Christmas, whatever. Any headway on that? I know we were reaching out to some businesses. Is there an interest? But
I think there is some interest. We need to do more legwork on that. I do love the idea, and I think Railroad Park would be a great site for something like that. But
maybe Railroad, or maybe even the track, because
the track would be nice too. Yeah.
So I've been thinking. I love Railroad Park for it, but I think that if we were going to do it multiple weekends, that might be.
Yeah, and the track actually does make a lot of sense at Veterans Field, because you're already going down to that space for the tree lighting. So, you're going to have an audience in that location, whether they're going up to see the parade or coming back down for the tree lighting. So there certainly would be an opportunity in that space.
Yeah, I think you're right. So maybe we could try to pick that up a little bit, because we should announce it sooner rather than later if we could get it going.
I'd certainly like that idea. And we have actually another tree lighting in town. Tommy Diana started this tree lighting down at the library. That's going to be on December 13th. So if you're a Yoki from Shoboki, as Tommy would say, or anyone else in Yorktown, to come down to the John C. Hart Library for that tree lighting as well.
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out and a thank you for that, because it's really been kept alive. Tommy actually not only started, but he planted the tree.
Twice,
yes, because the first one died. But Brian and Beth D have been instrumental in that, Donna Diana, in keeping that alive. And there's a committee that works with it, and they really, pull together to make sure that happens. And, they do a nice job. There's usually hot cider and some things, Celtic air.
Yvonne and her staff do a great job with the library.
The library, and then also you had Lakeland Deli does a lot too. And Yvonne, I think last year did like some kid events. Did they have the chorus last year?
Yeah, they have the chorus. They have the kid events. They do an amazing. It's
Yeah.
really a great event. If you haven't been, you should definitely check out this year.
Yeah, and I was just talking to Brian D about it the other day. That's one of the areas of town that looks like it looked all the way back. You still have the old Victorians along the row, and it's a beautiful, beautiful area. And you talk about that preservation of Yorktown. It's really
and I missed it because it's not necessarily a parks event, but the Veterans Day, Veterans Day parade that's taking place there. Is that on the 11th this year, or is it earlier?
The 11th is a Tuesday. It's always a Sunday prior, so that makes it the 9th. Yes.
So yeah, definitely come out to that as well. It's another great one.
No, it really is, and it's great to be able to recognize our veterans, and that's done in conjunction with the town and
The Lions again, right?
No, well, the Lions do free hot dogs. So yes, over at the Lakeland School lot. But really, Paul Martin from the Historical Society is instrumental in getting that. He does it every year. His daughter does the anthem. She has a beautiful voice, Alyssa Martin, and a lot of work goes into that. And it's once again great to be able to say thank you to our veterans for doing that. What else have we missed anything? We've
We
been
talked a lot about a lot. We talked.
we've been around the world here on
Yeah.
this. But what do you vision? I know we're talking about updates on the pool, the water slide, the
Interactive pool.
interactive pool. What else is there in the ADA accessibility? We did do the lights at Downing, which energy saving lights. When we talk
Yep,
about when we talk about the expenses of running this stuff, those lights were old lights. They were becoming harder and harder to find, which means that as they are scarcer and there's less supply for the demand, it gets more expensive. So we converted that over to LED lighting, which is lasts longer, less expensive to run, more energy efficient, and also modern technology that we could find if we need to do any replacements.
Yep. We're looking to replace some of our other lights as well with LED. Those are the tennis lights that we have at Downing as well as over at Shrub Oak. So those are some lights that we have our eyes on. But the fact that we did the baseball fields most recently is a great addition. And it also gives us the ability to update the lights via schedule online as well as on our phones as well. So that's a very handy tool, and it also gives some lights to the kids that go sledding on that hill.
Absolutely. And I will say, one group we missed a shout out to are the Parks and Rec Commission, who volunteer and sit there, and sometimes you may even feel get over involved in projects, but no, they're always involved, and they're all volunteers, and they all really care about the town and the parks, and they I know I've spoken to some of the rec commissioners who are like, oh, I was on my phone. I noticed no one was playing at Granite Knolls and the lights were still on, so I was able to turn them off. So they're conscious about not only our parks but spending our tax dollars on it. And yes, they ask for things because that's their job, but they understand where we are and where we need to go, which I appreciate. The fact that they do think outside the box and how to raise the funds, and are able to pinpoint on things and get where we need to get.
Yeah, I mean they're a great help, on just our looking at our budgeting and our revenue and what we're bringing in, what we're spending. And they are all local taxpayers, so they want what's best for this community, and they want to make sure that we're spending in an efficient manner. And they want to make sure that it's fair to their fellow taxpayers as well with the services they're getting.
So you bring up a great point, and once again I'm going to sort of link this because we talked in the beginning about developers, businesses. These are all taxpayers that come in. When a developer does a development, they are a taxpayer, and usually at a much higher rate than a single family house, because if they're doing multiple units, that's multiple amount of taxes. Eventually they sell them and they go to someone else unless they're renting. But that's revenue that comes into the town, and these businesses, these developers, while they have that property, they are our taxpayers. They deserve representation, and we have to take that in mind. I've worked with some people on the board who, especially like with businesses and the malls and all, it's like, well, they make a lot of money. Doesn't matter. And it's, first off, they're in business to make money. But I could tell you as a business owner, just the insurance bills alone are enough to put you out of business at times, especially if you take maybe the Yorktown Green in a big development like that. So we really do need to be conscious about the fact that, these are taxpayers, and we do want them to be successful here, because the worst thing you want to do is have people invest in your town and not be able to make it. So I say that we should always shop local, stay local. We've brought in, actually, in the years I've been on the board, and especially the last 5 in particular, we've filled 500,000 square feet of empty businesses, and we've gotten that filled, and there's more coming. And we've had commitment and new retail built, new commercial, which, once again, more tax dollars, and it's more jobs, It's more to do in our town. It attracts people, which help the surrounding businesses, and in the end of the day, helps the taxpayers, helps our departments, and makes it so we can keep up all these great things that you're.
Speaking of the Yorktown Green, I want to put you on the spot a little bit.
Okay.
He was redoing the whole siding of the Yorktown Green down there by Acme.
Mm-hmm. That's a triangle.
The triangle, oh, not Yorktown, the triangle, excuse me. But thinking of new development, but the triangle specifically.
I was already put on the spot.
Yeah, my fault. Yeah,
I answered. No, God.
But with the triangle specifically, they're redoing all the siding. In that project, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you went down there and because the steps going up to Veterans Field,
the Veterans Memorial Field, yep.
We've gotten a lot of complaints about, but they weren't our property. And you went to the developer to potentially get those refurbished?
Yes, that is going to be redone. I'm not sure if he's doing concrete or not. I owe him a call anyway because I'm trying to find out a couple things that are going on.
So that is happening?
That will happen.
That's great.
That will happen.
Do you know what the design is or anything like that for the public?
I'm not sure yet, but I do owe him a call, so we'll get a conversation about that.
I mean, it sounds little, but it's so big.
It is.
We have so many events in that location, and as you know, the parking, at the Albert A. Capellini Center, is tight.
Very tight.
And the triangle is very nice to allow our public to utilize that space and have that stairwell there. So a lot of people coming to our events are walking up. But yeah, to have that redone is huge.
Right, and I will say that having those steps, that partnership, works for both, because we need the access. But I can't tell you how many times I see someone coming up to an event with something from that center, whether it's some groceries from Acme. Matter of fact, we did we did during the concerts we've done the last 3 years now, collection for food pantry. And you see people coming up, oh, I parked down at Acme, so I stopped. I bought a bag of groceries for the food pantry.
Our movie nights, people are getting candy at Acme and then
candy.
walking right up.
Yeah, you have, in the CVS Plaza there, you have Mr. Softy, Nathan's, so they'll sometimes pick up something there. Arthur Treacher's now, if you're into your fish and chips. So, yeah, and once again, that's that symbiotic relationship of the town that, I think is so important to balance and look at and make sure we understand as a board, as a community, and support everyone in our town. Mm-hmm. It's inclusivity, and inclusivity is not just based on race, color, gender, but it's also based on what type of ownership you have. There are renters, there are owners, there are commercial owners. And it's very, very important that we, not-for-profits, it's churches, religious organizations, that we understand that all of these people and places are in our mix as taxpayers and the people that we represent. Mm-hmm. There is a representation for them, and I think that once again, that sometimes gets lost in the translation.
Yeah, the beautiful thing, just to bring it full circle, the beautiful thing about being in Yorktown and living here is the community involvement and how everyone in this town wants to help each other. Whether it's our local sports organizations or our local not-for-profits, or even our businesses and our government. We're all kind of working together to help facilitate a better living experience.
So we'll probably have to have you back, Jim, as we get to some of the recreational things, especially the summer and the camps.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Maybe in the spring. But I think that we've pointed out why Yorktown is such a great place to live.
Absolutely. Ed, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Jimmy, thank you so much. And, you keep up the great work with you and your department, please.
Thank you. And thank you for your support.
Oh, no problem.